Hi, Orange Girl here with another process video for you. I am working with Flair from the Flair for Buttons today. I'm also working with Shimmerz Paints. Just a reminder that when you place an order with Shimmerz, if you put my name in the comment section, you can earn a mini surprise freebie to try out, and that will come right in with your order. So today I'm working with 3 different mists. They're all Coloringz products. I'm starting out with pink stilettos, easy for me to say, and I'm using this what is that called? A stencil. Yes, I'm using this stencil, and I'm spraying right on it, and then I'm flipping it over some of the time and getting kind of the other kind of image and spraying again. So you can kind of see how it adds some texture. It looks a little bit different when I'm using the stencil as I assume it's intended, which is spraying right through it like that. And then I will pick it up and flip it over, and you get still the flowers, but looks a little bit different. See how that works? So it's like the opposite image. And so I do that over and over throughout this layout background making process. So I'm using pink stilettos, which is a Coloringz product. I'm using Don't Citron Me, which is also Coloringz, and then I'm adding No Yolking is my last color here, which is the yellow. And so these are kind of 3 go-tos for me. I really like these colors, and I needed a little happy layout, and I actually made this probably over a month ago, but I didn't have a photograph in mind, and I was just kind of messing around to see what I would end up getting, and I really liked how it turned out, but I just didn't get a chance to finish it because some other things have come up in my life. So, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but you're gonna see me just kind of play around with this background. It took me about 10 minutes, I would say, to make. I did allow it to dry. Sometime in the middle there, I do a walk away and allow it to dry, and I don't count the 10 minutes in that, but or that in the 10 minutes, but I am doing using the same colors and adding some splatters over the top. I'm adding more mists over the top without the stencil so that it just adds more color to it. And I just keep doing that over and over again, wiping it dry with my paper towel. Yep, there it is. And then coming back in and adding another layer. I let it dry completely, come back in and add another layer over the top, and so on. And so that's basically how I made this, and just played with it until I got to something that I really liked. As I kept going, I liked it more and more, and I really, it was really, really fun to do. And I'll probably do this again with another layout at some point. And then I set it aside and dealt with some life things. If you follow my channel, you'll know that we've had some things going on in our life, and the main thing is that my father went in, we brought my father home from the hospital and chose to call hospice in to help. So he's been home since April, the end of April, with support from hospice. My mom and my sister have been taking care of him, and he's pretty much been bedridden that whole time. And he did end up passing away. And so I've been working with family and spending time with family and working on funeral arrangements and all of those sorts of things. We have had his funeral. We will bury his ashes yet coming up here this weekend. But so I've been going through photographs after photograph after photograph in my dad's 83, almost 84-year-long life. You can imagine that there were lots of photos, and I will tell you that I really appreciate all of those photos that had things written on the back, like names and dates. So if you have not written names and dates on the back of your photos, please print them, write them. Find your old photos that were before digital photography, and do your very best to write down those memories right now, because that's my urgency. That's my public, what is that called? Service announcement, my PSA for today, because it was really therapeutic for me to go through all of those photographs and create a video set to music that we have forever now. So yeah, so I've been kind of busy, and I'll get back to that in a minute. I'm going to let you know kind of what I'm doing here. I have a bunch of Vicki Bouton, like 3 different ephemera packs, and I decided I am going to use those. I knew there was a lot of black and white, and I love layouts that have lots of color and then with pops of black and white. in it, and so I almost cut this in half, and then I changed my mind, and I'm glad I do, because I do end up using that full piece later. But as I was going through the ephemera, I found all these circles, and I was like, they're all black and white. I like these. I think I'm going to go with that. And so that led me to using Flair, because they're circles, and also well, you'll see, I even found this journaling spot that's a circle, that I end up journaling on this layout in a bit off camera there. So these are two pictures of my daughter and her best friend, and they are messing around and playing with hats and sunglasses and being silly. And the whole idea about this layout is that in the journaling, I end up saying, I am so happy that these girls found their person. As parents, we've talked about how it's so nice that these two girls have found each other, and that we do think they're each other's person, and at least for now, and hopefully for a long time, because they just are really close. And even though they fight sometimes, they always make up and they tell each other everything, and it's just a great thing. So that's what this story is about today. And I find some butterflies here, and this is a Vicki Bouton pack of paper, and I end up fussy cutting some green, some pink, and some yellow flowers out. And I don't like the way the green looks, so I'm going to change that in a little bit. And I do actually cut out a few more flowers as well. But so I'm going to have the flowers in the background. I said flowers, I meant I do have flowers in the background. I don't cut out flowers, I cut out more butterflies. That's what I meant. But I'm going to change this. I added a yellow one, or I took an extra yellow one, and I used the same mist over the top of it and dried it and added another layer. And then voila, I have something that matches a little bit better. It's not the exact same color, but neither are the other butterflies, and I didn't really want them to be. So, but it works. I really like the way that worked. So if you have something that doesn't quite fit your color scheme that you still want to use, that's a strategy that you can use. So as I was going through the ephemera, I knew I wanted to use the circles. And then the other thing that I found was that label down at the bottom that says your vibe attracts your tribe. And I thought, that's perfect, because they really are part of each other's tribe. And so once in a few minutes here, I basically figure out that my background's done, and then these circles are going to be like another layer of my background. And then I'll glue everything down and continue to add a few more embellishments. So I cut that label down so it's just a square, or rectangle, excuse me, your vibe attracts your tribe. And I'll put that underneath the title. And the title is going to be Best Friends in black, and you'll see that coming up. I do pop my photos up with some foam, and I pop up your vibe attracts your tribe. I popped that up on foam as well. And then when I glue down my butterflies, I only glue down the center because then it adds some texture there. So I found these circles in this pack here of, it's also from Vicki Bouton, and you're supposed to actually, they're stickers, and you're supposed to paint them, or I mean, you can paint them. They're meant to be painted. I choose not to paint them and use them black and white to add some more black and white elements to the background, and so I'll use a few of those circles as well. You'll see that come up. So yeah, I do have this kind of fast because it took me a while. This is the first layout that I did after my father died. I'd already had the background done, but I didn't have any photos picked out or anything, and so it took me a little while to get back in the swing of things. And so I move things around a lot when I'm doing this, and it takes me a while to get things solidified. But anyway, I discovered as I was working on my dad's video that we made with all the photographs, excuse me, that really I probably got my love of capturing the moment with photographs from my mom. She's the one that often has the camera and takes the pictures or requests the pictures and so on. And my dad tolerates that, or did tolerate that. My dad, however, is where I think I get the story piece of all of this. He often tells the stories, and verbally, typically. And so I really enjoyed putting that video together because it was during that time that I realized, wow, you know, that is part of his legacy for me, is that as I'm going through all these photographs, I'm remembering all the stories he would tell about moments in his life before I was born, um, and other things that happened since. And his repetition of those stories are why I remember them, and the fact that he cared about those stories is definitely a part of his legacy. And so, my other public service announcement for today is, you know, find all those photographs, put names and dates on them. Anything that's already printed, make sure that happens. And then the other thing is tell the stories. Tell the stories in written form. Tell them on a blog. Tell them to your kids verbally, or your friends or other family members. Tell the stories. And that's what I'm going to keep doing as I continue scrapbooking and using whatever form is working for me at the moment. Anyway, so back to the layout. I have best friends. I had a really hard time getting these foam words off of the backing, but eventually I was successful. And I love this. I think this maybe came from, I cannot remember if it was Girl Squad or one of those. I can't remember. But I have the circles from the Vicki Bouton stickers, and I went ahead and popped those up off the backgrounds. And now I'm kind of messing around with some trying to decide what I want to use for my flare. I decided to go ahead and kind of put the yellow embellishments with the yellow, and the green embellishments with the green, and the pink embellishments with the pink in the backgrounds. And then I think I added a pair of a black and white flare as well, but I'm using yellow thread underneath of it. What else? I'm using, well, I use pink thread and I use green thread, and I change out that green button for a polka dot button, I think. And then I went into my enamel dot stash and I found some black and some green. And I think pink and yellow, all of those colors, I end up adding a few enamel dots. And that is really about it. The background was so pretty and the photographs are so fun that I really didn't want to add too many things. I've already got a lot going on with the flowers in the background and the butterflies and the circles that I didn't really want to add very many more things. I do grab my Tim Holtz phrase stickers. I love to add those to things. It's kind of like another extra little part of journaling for me. And it's kind of usually a message to my daughter or whoever reads these. And the phrases that I added were throw kindness around like confetti, and then live, create, tell the story. So those I will add underneath your vibe attracts your tribe. And then another thing that I do add off camera is I add a little bit of washi tape down in the bottom right corner. And I think you'll be able to see some of those things a little bit better in the close-ups, which will be coming up here pretty soon. So thanks a lot for hanging out with me today and watching my video. I appreciate you coming back, even though I've had a little bit of time in between projects. Hopefully I'll be back, maybe not 100% and maybe not twice a week or maybe not even once a week, but I will continue to work on producing content for my channel and for my design teams, and this is very therapeutic for me, and I really appreciate this venue to share something that I really am passionate about, telling the story for those that come after me and after I'm gone. So thanks a lot for stopping by. Here come the close-ups, and I will see you soon in my next video.